Okay, everybody, welcome to today's session. It is great to have you with us. My name is Alex, and I'm going to be the host of today's session, How Global Nonprofits Are Using Monday.com for Disaster Relief and Beyond. And we have assembled an all-star team of presenters for us today, and they're going to tell you all about their very impactful work using Monday.com and other tools in the field of emergency response. So I'll go first. It's great to meet you all. My name is Alex. You can see my official title on the screen there, but basically, my job is to help our 27,000 active nonprofits who are using Monday.com, about 80% of them absolutely for free, to get as much as possible out of the platform. If you are a nonprofit and you're yet to join us on this amazing offering, I'll give you information in just a moment about how to take advantage of this cool platform and show you some of the amazing things it can do to help you, whether you're working in the field of emergency response or any other nonprofit related domain. We're also joined today by Miriam Cooperman, who maybe would like to just say a quick word.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm a Senior Emergency Response Manager for the Emergency Response Team, and we will soon present you and share with you how we've been supporting emergency response organizations all over the world.
Thank you, Mary. And we also have Mary's Emergency Response Ambassador for the Americas, Raquel.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you from Mexico City.
And her counterpart, ERT Ambassador in Asia, is Malu.
Hello, everyone. Malu, connecting from the Philippines.
Thank you very much. And they both work on the ground with many local organizations. And today we're going to hear from two of them. We have Paul, who is joining us from Cadena. And we have Carl joining us from ADA.
Hi, good evening. Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm Carl from ADRA Philippines, the Emergency Response Coordinator.
Hello from my side. I'm based in Honduras. My name is Paul Rodriguez from Cadena International.
Thank you so much, both of you. We're going to hear more about their specific work in just a moment. I'm going to now run through our agenda so that everyone knows what we have planned. We have 1 hour together today and a lot of good stuff to cover. So I'll kick things off with a quick introduction about my work and what Monday.com for Nonprofits does. Then I'll pass over the mic to Mary to tell you more about the work of the emergency response team in general. And then we'll hear from our local experts. We'll hear from Cadena about the work that they're doing in the field and how Monday.com has supported their mission. And we'll also hear from the other side of the world, from the Philippines, about ADRA's local work. They're specifically going to show us their tailored system and the digital solutions that they're using for disaster operations. Yes, and of course, we'll finish with a Q&A session. We'll do our absolute best to answer all of your questions today. Any questions you have, you can put them in the chat, and I'm going to coordinate that. We'll do our best to cover everything in the 1 hour that we have today. So I'm actually going to get out of this presentation for my little part, just briefly to explain what Monday.com for Nonprofits is. There may be many of you in the session today who are already part of Monday.com for Nonprofits, but there may also be folks who are coming from various sources who have no idea what Monday.com is and how you can get involved. So Monday.com is a work operating system. Many people know it as a project management tool, but it's really so much more than that. It's an AI-powered solution that can really manage everything you need to do, whether you're a small independent nonprofit or a massive multinational corporation. When you open an account, you get a 2-week free trial. After that, you need to pick a paid plan, how much money you want to spend for how much service you want to receive. And however, if you are a nonprofit, you can come to this page, monday.com/nonprofits, and read a little bit more about our nonprofit program. Application to this program is free, very quick, and if you are an organization based anywhere in the world, I highly recommend it. Here you can find our eligibility criteria. You do need to be registered somewhere in the world, and then there are a few different eligibility criteria that you can read on the screen here. We've tried to make it as broad as possible and fairly easy to understand. You know, it's not hundreds of pages of legal text. And even if you're not sure if you're eligible or not, my advice is to click here on Apply Now, fill out a very simple form, and see if you can join us on the platform. All we need to know in this form are who you are individually, make sure you're affiliated with the organization, what your organization is, and what your Monday.com account is. So you do need to have a Monday.com account already, but it can be any type of account. It can be brand new or an old one. It's totally fine. And we'll do a very quick check. Sometimes takes as little as a day. And assuming you are eligible, you will be by default moved to our nonprofit program here. You will get 10 seats for free on the Pro tier. Pro is the second highest level of service at Monday.com. For a nonprofit, it's super robust. If you're needing it to manage donors or grants or events or emergency response or volunteers, all of that stuff is unlimited on the nonprofit program. There are discounts on extra seats. There's also discounts on upgrading to enterprise. But I always say I'm not a very good salesperson because I'd say 99% of our nonprofits are on the on the Pro plan, not on the enterprise plan. There are a couple of features that are exclusive to enterprise, and if you need them, you're welcome to upgrade. And yeah, you do get a nice discount there. I can also say that this page has not been updated since Monday.com launched more products. When we started, we offered 10 free seats on the only product that we had. Monday.com made Monday.com. But now we have 4 core products, and we offer 10 free seats on each of those products. So 10 free seats could really be turned into 40 free seats if you had, 40 people working in 4 quite different groups, which is, again, pretty cool and just part of this very flexible and robust offering that we've made available for free to nonprofit organizations. Up the top here, you'll also find more information about the platform, more information about what we're offering to nonprofits, and more resources to help you out. Here you can find future webinars that we're offering, drop-in office hours, courses, discounted implementation, a global community, all sorts of great things here. So yeah, if you are yet to join our nonprofit program and you are a nonprofit, highly recommend opening your account today and then coming here to join us as a free user. Like I said, we have 27,000 organizations already. We'd love to have a few more after today's session. So that's it from me. And I'm now going to pass the mic over to Miri, who will continue to talk us through a little bit more of her work at the emergency response team. So thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. Monday.com has its own philanthropic foundation. So we are proud to say that we have now the Monday.com Foundation, where we have different initiatives to support the society. One of them is the emergency response team. And what we do is partnering with emergency response organizations or any type of civil society initiative in times of crisis and disasters. Next, please, Alex. So why disasters and why do we have a specialized team to support during emergencies? As soon as an emergency happens, the first few hours are the most critical ones to establish the processes, to know how we are going to handle and help out the community. And that's why we don't only have a team that gives the support through the donation of Monday.com, but we also have our team that flies directly to the field to work and support all of these organizations. Alex, next, please. And what we do is we provide solutions, digital solutions, helping all of these emergency responders to organize everything and to be able to do the actual work and not having to be managing extra staff that are not directly involved in their relief efforts. And I think the best way to show about the ERT and our mission and how is that we're partnering with all of these organizations. Soon we're going to have Paul and Mark from the organizations sharing their own experiences in the field, but I also want to show a quick video about us, about the ERT, and how we've been supporting all over the world disasters.
Great. Now, I'm not sure we're going to have sound on this unless I change my settings. So let's just do a quick check and make sure that you can hear this.
We can't. Do you want me to share my screen quickly?
Okay. Thanks, Mary. Sorry about that, folks.
No, all good. I think it was my fault. Great. So it will be this one.
horrific.
450 people dead.
And dozens more have been reported missing.
And more than 1,100 homes have been destroyed in the worst wildfires.
We need help. We need support to help these people.
When disaster strikes, emergency response teams need to act fast and stay coordinated. That's where the Monday.com emergency response team comes in. We're part of the Monday.com Foundation, working side by side with those responding on the ground where help is needed most. We support NGOs, community initiatives, and disaster response agencies with digital tools that help them assess needs, coordinate operations, and deliver aid faster. With pro bono hands-on support, we help emergency responders turn Monday.com into their own coordination hub, fast, flexible, and built for their needs. Aid organizations around the world are using Monday.com to manage the distribution of aid, assess needs on the ground, coordinate search and rescue, track food donations, run shelters, organize volunteers, and respond to needs and requests from people in real time. From wildfires in Brazil and Chile, hurricanes battering the US and the Philippines, to powerful earthquakes in Morocco and Myanmar, and severe floods across India, Uganda, and Australia. We've supported over 100 organizations in more than 50 emergencies, helping them scale their impact when it matters most. We believe in turning chaos into coordination. If you're responding to emergencies, we're here to help.
Next one. Great. So this is a bit about us. We've seen the impact whenever there's an emergency and the teams can really count with better tools. It really makes an impact not only for them, but for all of the communities they're working with. And everything we do, it's completely pro bono from the platform, the volunteers, our team deploying to the field. And I think the best will be to hear it from soon from Paul and Carl. So I don't want to tell you more about how it's impacting the different emergency response organizations all over the world, but I do want to share with you that we have a resource center also in our website. Is mondayrt.org. Now that I'm sharing the screen, I can actually maybe show you the website. Here you can go to the resource center and you'll find different templates, webinars we've done around wildfires, hurricanes. We have an integration with Kobo Toolbox, which allows you to do offline data collection. And for sure, whenever you need our support, you can contact us and we will see and explore the best way we can support your responses. And last thing I wanted to say, Alex in the beginning presented Raquel and Malu, but these are our both ambassadors for Americas and Asia. So they are working very closely to the local organizations, trying to build a network and a community in the different locations to be able to deploy quickly whenever there's a disaster. So they've been doing an amazing job connecting, partnering, and building a lot of capacities throughout the different regions. So now Paul from Cadena International, he will presenting his experience while responding to the earthquake in Turkey. So thank you, Paul, for joining. We're very lucky to hear from his experience directly coming from the field. So thank you, Paul, for being here today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Miriam, for your introduction. My name is Paul Rodriguez. I'm based in Honduras, but I work for Cadena International, and I usually been deployed to these many interventions around the world. Turkey is one of them, and it was actually one of the first times that I was able to work with Monday. But to give you all context, Turkey on February 6th of 2023, it has two massive earthquakes. The magnitude were the biggest that they had in years, in decades actually. and it struck near the Syrian border, within hours of each other. Um, I remember that we were exactly at the epicenter of the earthquake in Hatay, and the disaster was very big. It was thousands and thousands of deaths across Turkey and Syria, and many people being displaced by these. Thousands of buildings were broke down to pieces, to dust, basically. In Cadena, we are specialized in disaster response from the very first hours in search and rescue teams, but also we have the more humanitarian oriented operationals when the environment is a little bit more settled. So we have actually in this particular disaster we have plenty of time there, from the search and rescue team to the more recovery based projects. But I'm going to lay over a little bit on how much of that included Monday. So we, as first, when we arrived in Turkey, just days after the earthquake, the situation was still chaotic, and the entire neighborhoods had collapsed. Information was fragmented, and the teams that we deployed there, they have a very specific mission to say. Our team, our search and rescue team, is called Go Team, and they were moving from one structure to another structure, conducting body recoveries and extremely complex condition. So you can imagine that they didn't. They are search and rescue. Basically, they, for information management, for coordination, for other tasks. They were not very sensitized at how much we needed back in headquarters to make decisions. So at that moment, one of the biggest challenges that we have was the working itself. It wasn't the working itself. They were very professional and good at it, but it was the tracking. And where we had already intervened, what we have been found, what needed to be reported to authorities. And this is where Monday became critical, because it gave us the laying to have this information extracted from the field team and in a very friendly way, instead of relying on scattered notes or memories or every intervention point that the team had in every building that they did the searching was recorded in real time. Can we show the next slide, please? So in real time, they were able to easily record each collapse structure where a recovery took place, was mapped and documented. And suddenly, what began with a fragment information became a clear operational picture of what we have been doing. And in parallel, since they are doing this specific task, both of the staff and the volunteers that we have were fitting a rapid need assessment, so we could have in real time information and how to evolve our operations there. So it wasn't just data collection, it was like a live situational awareness of where we have, and being able to planning in there. It was very, very, very needed. Things as the day passed, something interesting happened. As you can see here in the map, every blue point is where we recover bodies. Sadly, we didn't rescue survivors. We mainly only find bodies, but actually that's also really important for the families and authorities to have the people to be able to say goodbye to their. Oh, sorry, just one moment. I need to, my cat just remove one of my cables, so think it's fine now. All right, so sorry for that. Yeah, what started as a tool for emergency tracking, it gave us the backbone of our operation, basically. For us, for the coordination team, we began to use it to organize our partnerships. The track media engagement that we have there was very big. And you can see here the assessment and information system that we have. It was a formulary. The volunteers were submitting information, and since we didn't, we actually we are in America and the team were in Turkey, so the hours were very different. So it wasn't possible for us to have information all the time, 24/7. So some of the information has to be passed through the teams in different moments. So we were not able to join a Teams or a Zoom call. So we were just receiving information every time in basically as we needed. And then as we transition into our recovery phase, working alongside our local partners, you can see how the most basic part of the Turkey needs assessment that we had there, it was just compiling the information from the more specific to the more general one. But yes, basically Monday turned into a project management space. We use it for track monthly progress, for manage payments, to store key documents, to conduct due diligence, and even the meal part, for example, collect satisfaction feedback. So as you can see, it was able to be there for us in different areas for different part of the staff. I think, again, sorry, just a moment.
In the meantime, I just wanted to share that our team was in Turkey. We had the chance to meet Cadena in the field, and the amount of distraction and the amount of information that all authorities had to collect, it was massive. Like, we met with organizations that had to conduct thousands of assessments, and they started doing all of them in pen and paper. So when we arrived to the field, and they also could start using Kobo, that was allowing them to collect the data offline, it was really like a game changer, and they were able to visualize and to really understand the impact and the magnitude of the event. I don't know if Paul is back. I know cats love computers, so and I know Raquel was also part of the team back then in Turkey, so
Yes.
maybe you can share a bit.
Yes, maybe I can share a little bit. At that time, I was Chief Operating Officer at Cadena, so it was an excellent tool to track all what was happening in there. We had to track what was happening in the field, as Paul told us about the emergency response team. After that, Paul led in the field the reconstruction in a camp of many shelters. So all the reconstruction of this camp was managed also in Monday.com. We had a fundraising team working 24 hours. So all the fundraising efforts were also in Monday.com. All the tracking of the volunteers, we deployed many volunteers, medics, rescue teams, volunteers for the constructions of the shelter. All this process, all these forms were managed at Monday.com. And Paul also wanted to show, I can tell a little bit because I have worked with Cadena in the inside and now in the Monday.com team. So we can see here the compliance of operations. In this compliance of operations, like all the offices of Cadena has 11 offices, all the interventions that they have, they registered in Monday.com. So we see easy to know what is happening. And now that they have been managing this from the last 3 to 4 years, you can see like how the disasters occur in the different regions and what is the effort like of the offices. Like there are some months that are the crazy months, like from May, June to November. It's crazy because of the hurricanes and floods in Latin America. But we have December, we have January, February to plan. So this has also changed how the organization operates inside. So there's a lot of insight in mapping what is happening in the disaster world with these tools. And you can do things that you never imagine. Many times when we listen to disaster response, we imagine the disaster, but as I always say, we manage disasters, but we are not the disasters. And the Monday.com tool helps you to not be a disaster in those moments. And it's easy to set up. And now Paul is back. So if you need something, if you want to add something else, Paul.
I think one more thing is that it's different when you arrive to an organization that has always had a platform in like a virtual tool to work. I have worked in other NGOs, and not to give a name to competition here in this space, but for example, they work with Microsoft, they work with Google Drive and so on. And when you start with in Cadena, I said we are a Latin international NGO. That's a rare breed in itself, but I think to understand the impact that Monday has for us is to being able to compare and when that was not the case. And I see one of the comments here, how was the transition? It wasn't easy because people, even though it's more difficult, people are used to it. So they are, whenever you want to introduce a tool, even if it's good, is a change, and people needs to have time to accept this change and to work with it. Even if it's, for me, when I saw Cadena, when I saw Monday for the first time, I said, oh, it's really nice, it's really cute, it has all the information that I needed, but it wasn't moving. We were not using it as the best potential that it could. And in Turkey, I think it was the first time that actually relieves my head from the chaos that included Excel files, WhatsApp messages, personal devices, that this had this information, though, but who has it, and then which, and so, and disconnected folders. At some point, we made it work, and we were used to work like that, but it was messy and efficient, and it was with the cost of my own hair. So I think also, even though that I was very expected to work like that, like working in disasters, sometimes it can be messy, but it was different. And I think the more suit we were, and the more we saw the impact that it had, and the more a healthier space in my head I was experiencing from previous experiences, I became an advocate for it in my own team. Like, no, I'm not going to accept this voice message from 3 minutes. Please use the link. I will have the information there. So it definitely is a transitional period, and it's definitely moving from one thing to another is just to trust, and that it allow us to move faster, coordinate better, and trust information, also information that we're making. So I think all in all, yeah, it's been a progress.
Thank you, Paul. And I think what you just mentioned, it's very relevant. Like, it's not only a tool that allows these teams to be more efficient, to reach the communities faster, to have more clarity, but it even gives the first responders the capacity to have more mental space to cope with the disasters. And for everyone that comes from this world, we know very much that if we don't take care of ourselves, burnout will come. So seeing how this also takes a huge toll out of the teams that need to be in the field, in the ground, it's been amazing. And I've seen it by going to the field, and Paul just shared with it. And I think the value here is in every possible way. Thank you, Paul, for sharing your experience. And now we're gonna go to the Philippines. Actually, I also had the chance to be with ADRA offices. We went to the Philippines, and since then they've been doing an amazing work in digitizing all of their operations. Last October, November, they had a very rough period. They had altogether an earthquake, cyclone, floods. And I remember Carl said, like, it doesn't feel a complete chaos because now I have Monday. So we're also very happy to have with Carl today. And please, Carl, whenever you can start to share about your amazing expertise and knowledge.
Okay. So good evening, good morning. So am I audible? Can you hear me? Okay. So good day everyone. I'm Carl from ADRA Philippines. Yep, my presentation today will be divided into three parts. Now, first, we'll know who is ADRA. Second, our challenges and previous system. And third, our present system using Monday.com. So ADRA, or Adventist Development and Relief Agency, is the global humanitarian arm of the Seventh-day Adventist Church and present in almost 120 countries. We have been operating in the Philippines for more than 40 years, focusing on disaster response such as typhoons, floods, and fires in partnership with the Adventist Community Services, or ACS. At the same time, we implement programs on health, protection, and community development, especially for those living in high-risk and hard-to-reach areas. So before we started with using Monday.com, most of our systems were manual and fragmented. Now we relied heavily on Excel trackers, Google Sheets, email threads, paper-based reports from the field. So while these tools helped, they also created several challenges. Like, first, information was scattered. Data would come from different teams in different formats and sometimes delayed. No? Second, limited real-time visibility. So as the emergency response coordinator, it was difficult to quickly see who is doing what, which areas are already covered, what gaps still need attention. So something like that. And third is, during emergency response, timing is critical. But with our previous system, decision-making was lower, no? Because we had to consolidate reports manually. And lastly, accountability and tracking were more difficult, no, that time, especially when managing multiple teams across different locations. So while the team was working very hard on the ground, our system was not always keeping up with the speed of the response. Now this is where Monday.com came in and really changed how we operate. So today we use Monday.com as a centralized platform to manage our operations, especially during disaster response. So what does this look like in practice? Now, first, centralized data management. So all key information from beneficiary data, distribution tracking to activity updates is now in one place. This reduces duplications, at the same time confusion. And then second is, we have already this real-time visibility wherein I can immediately see status of distribution, progress per location, team assignments, and so on. And third, we have integration with Kubo for offline data collection. Since many of our areas have limited internet, so field teams collect data offline using Kubo, and once sync, it automatically reflects in the platform. And fourth, we have already improved coordination and accountability. Each team member has clear assignments, timelines, and deliverables, and then we can track their progress and follow up easily without long email threads. No? And finally, we have this better reporting. Instead of manually consolidating reports, we can now generate updates more efficiently, which is very important for donors and to our partners. To summarize, no, Monday.com really helped us move from a reactive and manual system to more proactive, organized, and data-driven operation. If I may allow to share my screen just to share our boards. Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead, Carl. That'd be great.
Okay. So is my screen visible?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So this is my Monday account, and in the left corner you can see here sample copy for presentation. No, we didn't just adapt a tool. No, we designed a system of interconnected digital boards and forms that follow the entire response cycle. Now, as you can see, from assessment down to post distribution monitoring. So let me walk you through the key components. First, we have this rapid needs assessment board. No, wherein field teams and ACS volunteers collect initial data and using digital forms even offline. And you can see here in our main table, we can immediately see affected areas, urgent needs, initial estimates of affected households. Now, this is our dashboard. Sorry, the internet is quite slow. So here, no? And instead of waiting for reports, we already have dashboard view within hours, which is critical for early decision making. Okay, so that's it. And for large scale disasters, we also have this multi-sectoral rapid needs assessment board. No, here we capture data across sectors like the food security, wash, or water, sanitation and health, protection, including gender-based violence considerations and shelter and so on. So the internet is not working well, but this board help us prioritize intervention based on evidence, not assumptions. Okay, so it also ensures alignment with cluster standards and partner requirements. So this is the dashboard, no, using Monday Vibe app. And then based on the assessment data, we develop now this response plan. Okay, here in this platform, and this include target locations, number of beneficiaries, type of assistance, like if it's food, if it's multipurpose cash assistance, timeline, and responsible teams. No? And this board becomes our central operational guide, and then this is accessible also to everyone involved. No, we can see there the mission objectives in every response, in every target area. Okay, and then this is the main table. Okay, and then before any distribution, we conduct beneficiary validation. Okay, through this board, we can able to cross check and clean data. Okay, like for example, these are data coming from the field, and then we can avoid duplication. We can ensure targeting criteria are met. No, here in the dashboard we can see figures for the eligible and not eligible individuals. And from here you can, if you want to see the names from for example from this Garche-Torena municipality, you can just simply click this graph, and then it will show that the names, no, who are they that are eligible for the intervention. Okay, then after that, no, before once validated, we generate now our final distribution list. This is our distribution list board. This board is actually, we are using this during actual operations, and this includes household details. Now here in the main table, as you can see, we can see here the qualification status, if they are qualified or not. So we have that formula set, no, for the platform to review it's qualifies or not. So total household members. So we have also collecting data for how many men, women, girl, boy, and so on, pregnant, persons with disabilities, and assistant type, distribution status, and even attaching IDs, IDs and signatures. Okay, so during distribution updates can be made in real time or sync after, giving us a live snapshots of progress. So this is our dashboard, this is how it look like po, okay. And after by the way, also in the distribution day, we also prioritize the AAP, or accountability to affected populations. So we have this feedback, feedback form. This is the form. It is in Tagalog. We log here complaints, suggestions, inquiries from beneficiaries, and in areas with stable internet, aside from that physical complaints and feedback box, we also place a QR code on our visibility tarp so beneficiaries can easily access and submit feedback through an online form. So we just simply go here in this share form, and then we can find the QR for this specific form. Okay, so each entry is tracked, assigned, and resolved, that and this makes or ensures that community voices are not just heard but acted upon. Okay, so after distribution, we conduct PDM, or post distribution monitoring. Ideally, we do this 2 weeks after the distribution. So we capture here, this is the main table. So we capture here the satisfaction levels, use of assistance, gaps or issues. We have questions about usefulness, time in line, so something like that. So the data feeds into our PDM board. This help us evaluate effectiveness and improve future responses. And last, we also have this volunteer management board. This help us maintain a reliable database of our volunteers and makes it easier for us to mobilize and contact them for future responses, especially in areas where they are already based. So this is the dashboard. You can also see there the volunteer locations all throughout the Philippines, and something like instead of starting from zero every time, we already have a pool of trained and trusted volunteers on the ground, and their details here. We have the name, phones, and their email address. Okay, so to wrap up, from assessment to monitoring, everything is now connected. What used to be separate manual processes is now integrated digital workflow. So that's why we would like to thank the emergency response team of Monday.com for the technical support. So this allows ADRA to make faster decisions, and ultimately deliver assistance more effectively to affected communities. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carl, and thank you, everybody. I mean, I wasn't joking when I said we had a superstar team. Everyone is doing such amazing work, and it's, I work on the platform every day, but to actually see some of this stuff is really, really cool, and I can only imagine how many lives have been transformed. So thank you all for the work you're doing. Some great questions have already come through in the chat, so it's my job to coordinate this Q&A. And I think what we'll do actually is keep with you, Carl, because you're hot. And a couple of questions for you, Carl, about some of the work you showed there. Specifically, maybe we can start with the dashboards you built with Monday Vibe, which I saw a couple of there. Could you talk a little bit about that? How was the Vibe process for you? Did you build those? Did you have help with those? There's a few people asking about your widgets and the dashboards that you've used so far.
Yeah, okay. For the for the Monday Vibe, actually, I just explore, no, I just explore really the platform, and I find it very helpful, the Monday Vibe. Um, and that is why we have dashboards that are in Monday Vibe. But the challenge for that is that somehow it takes time to show the dashboard compared to the widgets or the dashboard in place, wherein when you click, so it flashes immediately. So that's the one downside for that. So especially if you have already a chunk of data, a Monday Vibe will really load and take time. And for the widgets, yep, just keep exploring. No, there are a lot of widgets that will help you. No, you can find actually, I am a kind of person that if I ask, I wanted to have a solution, and then I have this in mind, then I'll try searching in the platform, and it always answers my question. So I think my suggestion to others is just to explore the platform, and then you will amaze what it can do.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Calvin. What you built there looks really, really awesome. So, and Pedro, I don't know if you had any specific widgets that you were interested in. If you like want to let us know in the chat which widgets exactly caught your eye, we can maybe come back to Carl. But thank you very much for your introduction there, Carl. That was awesome. But I think we'll change track now to the question from Jean-Michel about, well, maybe I'll read the question out and then we can give different answers. And if you want to expand on it, Jean-Michel, you're welcome. Jean asked, to what extent can Monday.com realistically support field operations in low to no connectivity and no power environments? And what are its limitations for frontline teams who need reliable tools during emergencies? And maybe, Mary, you can start us off there. If anybody else wants to come in afterwards, they're more than welcome to.
Great. No, and it's a great question. I would say that the last few years, Starlink changed the field. In all of the last crisis that I've been all over the world, in every region, Starlink is there. And on one side, now we see a lot more connectivity in the field. So yeah, Monday needs internet to work. You cannot use Monday without internet. Like in the Android app version, you can have access to the information offline, but the real work around Monday, yeah, you do need to have internet. But we also know that most of the times the most critical information that we need from the affected communities, it needs to be gathered where there's no internet connectivity. After it, you come back to like where are you sitting from the headquarters or the like kind of office, temporary office that you have in the field, and then there you usually have connectivity. But when you go out there to collect the data to conduct the needs assessment, there's no connectivity. And that's why we build this integration with Kobo Toolbox. For those that are familiar with Kobo, the ones that are not familiar, is a free data collection platform. It's widely used in the humanitarian sector, and you can either use it in tablets or even in your phone. For sure, you need to collect the forms with internet, but once you are deployed, you can collect every type of data information, even like the GPS point, take pictures from the field, and you can do it everything without the internet. Once you come back, all of the information goes automatically to the cloud and then transferred into your Monday board. So you'll have all of the information there. And actually, a few months ago, we were in Jamaica. They were collecting data with pen and paper. We moved all of them to the tablets. So now the team started going to the field with the tablets or with their phones. And this is how they continue to collect the data, and they saved tons of time. So because also someone asked, how is this transition from the pen and paper to collecting data with it? each organization has its own Monday account and also its own Kobo account, and it works in the same as any other form with a link, or you can download the app in the case of Kobo in the tablet and have it there.
Good stuff. Thanks, Mary. Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge anywhere. I can only imagine it's like 10, 100, 1,000 times more difficult than a disaster zone. And it's good to hear that there are solutions to some of these big issues. And maybe we'll continue with this thread of the pen and paper transition, because when Nick asked the question, Paul was speaking. So Paul, I don't know if you have any specific examples maybe from your team and your work of tricks or tips or ways that you were able to transition the team from those analog tools to the digital ones. And I'll even add a little part to that question. Do you have any tips for other organizations for dealing with specific people in the organization who maybe are reluctant to adopting the new technology? That's for you, Paul, if you're still here.
I hope the cat didn't take over everything.
Paul survived the disaster and the earthquake and the hurricane, and the cat was too much.
Sorry, and I don't know that you were able to see my little Appa. That's his name. But I was distracted by him right now. Sorry.
No problem.
Can
Did
you
you
go
get the
over,
question?
please?
Yeah,
No.
sure. We're just asking about the transition from analog tools to digital tools. Any tips you've seen there, and if you have any tips for dealing with specific people in your organization who are also maybe less willing to make changes.
Yeah, I think just like I mentioned before, I find it, I mean, pen and paper, yeah, it's difficult. Some of the stuff that we do need pen and paper, some very minimal, like contracts and so on, or we really like to have the image permission, consensus for taking pictures. We like to have them in digital format, but also in paper. But other than that, I think the transition has definitely been slower. For example, I think it also depends on the areas, because the media and communication and comms team, they were really eager to use Monday, and some of the other were not. I wouldn't say they were reluctant, but they were like, is it really needed? So, for example, I remember one team from República Dominicana that what I basically did was, so Monday actually helped your life, because they have to run a survey for 30% of the total beneficiaries, and they wanted to do it manually, and it was like hundreds of them, and then they needed to scan them. So so she was going over with me on how, or if it was a flexible number and so on. So I said, no, but you decided to do it manually, so I guess that will be it. So little by little, these cases have helped us to cause some of persuasion on the team to move over from that. But yes, it's definitely is something that we try to familiarize the team, from volunteers to staff from each of our offices, and I think it's a matter of being there. That is something that you actually guys do, because, for example, Raquel has helped us to grow a bit more and to sophisticate more our tools, and that actually give us the trust that we can rely on this, because I think that being not so eager to use it is because you don't know how much it can help. So little by little, seeing the advantages and how much is saving you time, having this, just like that colleague that I said, oh, you're wasting, like, not wasting, but you are using your time so much on these manually transcripts or digitalizing information that it could have already been there. So these little experiences of them seeing and comparison, I think it helps to move over from from this digitalized world.
Mm. Mm.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Thank you, Paul. So I think we probably have time just for one final question. And the one here we have from Juris, who asked, there was a mention of duplicate prevention. So maybe we'll pass this one back to you, Carl. Juris is curious to know more about this. Is it preventing duplicates? Is it cleaning up duplicates, using managed duplicates, or is there some other feature you're using? How did you guys go about this at Adra?
Okay. Okay, so let me again share my screen.
Please.
I'll show you. We can do it manually by the main table, but we can also do it in the Mandivibe. So as you can see in the screen, we have this distribution list form, no? There is that summary, and then I also set the Mandivibe this dashboard to detect duplicate detection here. So as of the moment, it says that all tier, no duplicate families name detected. Okay, so also you can do it in the main table. What we can do is just to sort, use this sort, then you can have the sort column, then you can check one by one with the same, if there are the same family names, then you can check it, yeah, something like that. Just sort, then you can do it already, the checking the duplication.
In the Mandivibe, there was just a prompt you gave, right? You said, please add this feature, and you gave it that prompt to the AI and it produced it. That's all you did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So command prompt.
sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to show one more way where you can track duplicates. So, like on Monday, you can start adding more layers of complexity, and you can add like automation. So sometimes you can identify duplicates by connecting boards, and if something matches, then it can like pop up. And another way also, it's in the same board, there's a way here to manage duplicates. So when the same name, for example, it's found more than one time, it will show you, and then you can also there clean up the information. Or let's say identify when a beneficiary has received something twice, etc.
Brilliant. So I promised that would be our last question, but there's one more very quick one which I can maybe cover before we wrap up. From Pedro, who asked, when is there going to be a Monday CRM webinar? So we do run webinars using Monday CRM. I lead courses on managing donors, volunteers, and others, which we use the CRM for. Those I will send a link to in the follow-up email. Basically, when we finish up today, I'll send everybody an email with the recording, including what we've just done today. Any links that other team members have mentioned, or anything that you want to share with me, I can include in this as well. And we have also done a dedicated CRM webinars in the past. We could well do them again. So Pedro, watch this space. We haven't got any dedicated CRM exclusive webinar coming up, but we do have those other webinars which include the use of the CRM product. But yeah, I'll send you links to all of the upcoming webinars, and who knows, maybe CRM will be one we include in the future. So my friends, thank you all so much for joining us today. First of all, to our amazing presenters, thank you, Mary. Thank you to our ERT ambassadors, both Raquel and Malu, and of course, to both Carl and Paul, who actually presented their incredible work. Thank you for joining us today, and also for the work you're doing. It's absolutely not taken for granted that you've dedicated a lot of energy, time, money, your lives to helping people, and we really do appreciate it. And also thank you to everybody who joined the session today. I know you're all busy people and probably managing complex nonprofits of your own, so I hope that we were able to give you something that you were able to latch onto and see that maybe could help you in your organizations as well. And if you would like to join us for future sessions like these, please feel free. I'll be sending out links to both the emergency response team and Monday for Nonprofits if you want to stay in touch with us. You can also, of course, follow us on social media and all that kind of thing to get our latest updates as well. So from me, that is all I have to finish. Do you have any closing words, Mary, before we say goodbye?
No, just wanted to say whoever wants to get in touch with the ambassadors or the RT, you can go directly to our website. We have a contact us form. We will get back to you.
Amazing. So thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your days wherever in the world you are joining from, whether it's Honduras, Mexico, Philippines, or somewhere else. And like I said, maybe see you again in a future session. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.